Okay, this is the flashlight project. The introduction says, review of today's purpose. I will learn how the angle of the sun changes over the year and how this affects the temperature. In this lab, we change the angle of the flashlight, and we'll see how this changes the way the light energy spreads out on the paper. This relates to how different angles of sunlight spread out on the ground. Trial number 1. Have someone in the group hold a flashlight directly above the paper, 146 centimeters from the paper. Shine the light straight down. This represents the sun being 146 million kilometers from Earth during winter. So, to do that, we have graph paper, and we have this stand here, and the stand has a ruler. So we're going to hold the flashlight 146 millimeters from the paper, shine right there, and then we're going to trace the outline of this spot right there. And we're going to label that trial 1. It says count the number of boxes that are more than halfway inside the circle. So you're going to have to freeze frame the video here and count how many squares are more than halfway inside this circle. Your answer is going to be slightly different than somebody else's because your interpretation of halfway might be a little bit different, but they should be very close together. Trial number 2. Have someone in the group hold the flashlight directly above the graph paper, 152 millimeters from the paper. Shine the light straight down. This represents the sun being 152 million kilometers from Earth during the summer. So I'm going to hold the flashlight again on this, but 152 millimeters up. And I'm going to trace this. And I'm going to label that trial 2. Count the number of boxes that are more than halfway inside this circle. Line number 7. Notice how the bright spots on these two trials are about the same. The difference between 146 and 152 is not a big change. Changing the distances from the Earth to the Sun is in the same way. The change is not big enough to change the sunlight coming to the ground. Trial number 3. Have the flashlight at a 45-degree angle to the graph paper. We're going to do that by having the triangle like this with the meter stick on the side. And we're going to place the flashlight on this side like that. Have it 14 centimeters from the paper. So there's the 14 centimeters. And we're going to trace the outline here. We're going to label this trial 3. Again, count the number of squares here. They're more than halfway in. You're going to have to freeze frame the video so that you can count those. Line number 10. You should have seen the light spread out a lot more. The light energy is not as concentrated in this trial as it is in previous trials. This leads to the paper being a bit dimmer than before. In a similar way, sunlight is spread out during the winter months. This leads to less heating in the winter, and that's why it's cold in the winter. Okay, after you've done all your counting here, you should be able to answer the questions on Skyward in order to report your answers.